All right, Sistas fans. So thankfully I was able to, I got 2 naps yesterday. 2 naps. I woke up at like 10:30. I took 1 nap around like 4:45. And then I think one before that around 2 for like 30 minutes to make sure that, I wanted to make sure I was able to watch the show live tweet, and do a live stream. However, this episode did not live up to expectations. I did not like it. I did not like this episode. What's sad is that this is the penultimate episode, with next week being the mid-season finale. I'm not going to get into the mid-season finale, but a couple of people recorded the trailer from their televisions and sent it to me. So I've watched the end credits promo and the actual 30-second promo for next week. And to let you know up front, I am not impressed. I feel like yet again, we're going to get constant character regression like we did in this episode. I felt like this episode, we had season 2 Andy all over again. Because remember, in season 3, for the most part, she didn't tell the girls anything about her and Gary. So we're back to Andy being her old self. 4 out of 10. And honestly, I feel like I should give it a 3, but this episode was a 4 out of 10. This was easily the worst episode of season 4 so far. It's only one episode though, because like I said, season 4 in my opinion has been fantastic. But this episode, it's like that student who's been getting straight A's all semester, but then they trip up and then they get that one like C or like a failing grade that kind of, throws off the momentum. This was that episode. I'm trying to be calm. I'm not upset because thankfully I got a good sleep last night. It's just that I'm just disappointed more than anything else. I feel like Priscilla after, she confronted Sam for cheating the first time. It's like, Sam, I'm so disappointed in you. That's how I feel about this episode. It had way too much Maurice and Q and Cal. What? I'm sorry, but we don't need that shit. The fact that I was like, Calvin, right on, man, right on. As soon as Maurice came and confirmed that, wait a minute, Maurice, so you did not allow this guy to come up in here, so he broke in. I'm going to call the cops. Yes, one phone call to the police that will squash everything. Q will be apprehended. Maurice's record, his address and everything will be taken off the books. That way Q won't ever be able to come in, especially with the excuse of the bracelet or whatever. Maurice, no, I will throw him out myself. But we'll get to that. So, folks, this was season 4, episode 10, entitled Our Favorite Places. And I had a great time live tweeting last night. Internet was fine, but my stream was a bit slow because Welcome Home Roscoe Jenkins, for me, that didn't cut off until 9:03. So by the time the stream got to Sistas, it was already at the part where Zach was like, I can't, I'm not going to give that money up, the $37,000. So it wasn't until this morning where I actually just watched the first 3 minutes. So this was one of the only good scenes of the episode. And let me just say this. People talk about Tyler puts black women through so much stuff and yada, yada, yada. It's ridiculous. Look at Zach. I mean, DeVal liked his voice. I felt so bad for him, because you could just tell the pain and anguish of how unfair this is. Now, let me put it this way. I do not know anything about the child support system. I will have to do some research, but I do not know anything about the child support system. From what I've heard from I think Chris Rock said it best in his, I know it's been a few years ago. I think, 2018, 2019, whenever he did that Netflix special where he talked about, the child support system and how it's unfair to men, and child support is always in favor of the woman. It's really messed up. I mean, to have to pay all the back child support up front for a child you don't even know is yours yet, just to get out of jail, is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, does this smell like a setup? It kind of does. But then again, the thing people need to remember is, this is Tyler Perry writing the scenario. he bends the rules of real world law, protocol and whatnot, just for the sake of the story. Just for the sake of the story. Yes, I did see the photo of the kid. I need to do like a zoom in because I'm like, this child kind of favors the child Roman from the Zatima series. But again, that's a separate video in itself. But Heather Lee Jennings is calling for $37,000 in back child support for Zach's 3-year-old son. Allegedly his son. And the thing is, I'm like, damn, this is bad if this is his child, because think of it this way. That's $37,000 probably based on, if Zach is still working at the airport. I mean, here's the thing. The reason this smells funky like a dirty diaper, is the fact that if this Heather Lee Jennings is someone who lives in the Atlanta area, this pretty much debunks the whole Atlanta is too small, everybody knows everybody, because if Atlanta is really as small as the cast or the characters say that it is in the show multiple times, why would it take 3 years for this chick to find Zach? Because according to Bill Watts, she's been looking for you. She's been doing a lousy job. Why did I go like Mario there? She's been doing a lousy job. No, she's been doing a lousy job trying to find him, because apparently it's not that hard to find anybody in this damn show. Especially with Zach having a record, you would think she would just go to the police station. Zach Taylor. Yeah, we know him. I don't know. Okay. Alright, so Zach doesn't want to pay it, but basically he kind of has to in order to leave. And he doesn't have, the money on hand. The cash would be in a safe in his girl's apartment. So I guess that means Zach has his cash money in a safe in Fatima's place, and he knows the combo. Jake is like, why don't you give it to me? Hell no. Okay, what about this? I'll pay this $37,000 and then you pay me back as soon as you get out of here. It's like, because you obviously don't trust me as much as I trust you. I think Jake is trustworthy. Look, I know I got burned with the Gary thing, but but I agree, that's a good move, Zach. Let him pay it and then you pay him back as soon as you get out of there. And he gives a sincere thanks to him for not telling Fatima, and yeah, I agree. Now, I feel like it's too early, because it's only like 8:30 in the morning when I'm recording this, but I will like think over it some more. But I honestly do not think Hayden had anything to do with this scenario. That's just my opinion. All right, so we go over. Oh yeah, going back to the child support thing. If this isn't his son, that's good. But think of it this way: if that Heather finds out about Zach's newfound wealth, that child support is probably going to be bumped up more, unless they do like a custody thing. But again, only time will tell. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Now, we go over to the Andy and Danny dinner. Oh yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this was the only Zach scene of the episode. So yeah, wait, you know what? Let me go ahead and take care of all the Zach stuff first. Yeah. So over at the salon, you got Karen and Pam. Pam learns that Jenna is a cop and there was a warrant out for Zach's arrest. And Karen's like, I need to go to his house and tell him. And Pam's like, don't you go over there? And she's like, okay, let me at least call. No answer, so she zooms over there. And of course, Pam's like, look, you ain't got nothing to do with this. Don't worry about it. But, Karen just ups and leaves. This is what I like about Pam, when she's written to be the competent one of the two. It's like, you got Pam, who's known as the nosy character, yet in this situation, Karen's the one who's just going way overboard and sticking her nose in some place it doesn't belong. So, this is a weird part to me, and this is how I interpret it. I did post it in the Facebook group, and I don't think anybody has said otherwise in case I was wrong, but Fatima gets to the house. Fatima gets to Zach's house, and Karen's just posted up outside across the sidewalk. I'm not going to lie, but given that I think Zach's house is the same house that Candace had on the haves and the have-nots. The one, if I'm not mistaken, that was like across the street from Miss Pearl, Justin's mother. I would have laughed my ass off if Miss Pearl said, hey, you can't park your car right there in front of my house. My son's a police officer. I'll call him right now. I'm sorry, but it would have been funny. It would have gave me like Quita and Pearl vibes if Karen was the one parked out there. But, Karen is parked outside, and she's standing outside of the car, and her traditional arms crossed look. Fatima, pulls into the parking space and walks across to, greet her. But here's my question. And this is just Tyler writing at its finest, if you will. She tells Fatima she needs to talk to Zach alone. And I'm thinking, okay, so how long have you been standing there? Also, later on, not to jump too far ahead, because I want to be honest here. I'm not going to spend much time talking about Karen's speech, because it's just the promo for the episode summed it up. How come he's doing all this for you in a few weeks when he wouldn't do it with me in 3 years? That's literally the whole thing. She's voicing her jealousy and all. Some people are like, hey, at least Karen's being honest. But then when you watch the promo for next week, she's still in denial about a lot of crap. But, okay, so Fatima goes into the house and then says, hey, I'll tell Zach you're out here. She goes in. She learns from Will that, hey, some of the guys are worried about getting paid because Zach got arrested about 3 hours ago. Hey, I don't know why. It's not my business, but some of the guys are worried. Hey, don't worry. I will figure out what's going on, so Fatima's going to go ahead and do that. Basically reassuring Will that don't worry about getting paid. It'll be good. But the thing about that conversation is that Will was saying, hey, progress is good. And at the rate we're working, Zach should be able to move in by this weekend, which I think that will happen prior to the beginning of Zatima. And no, I have no idea what day of the week it is in Sistas, but she comes outside and tells Karen that Zach isn't there. And then Zach is like, well, his car's right there. Yeah, but I'm telling you, he's not here. And then Karen is, got that stick up her ass, basically thinking that Fatima is lying to her. And I'm thinking the whole time, okay, so Fatima's like, hey, girl, you want to come in? No, actually, I want to talk to him alone. Okay, well, hey, I'll wait outside and you can go in first. No, at first I thought I wanted to go inside the house, but now I just don't want to because of the whole jealousy crap. So my thing is this. When Karen got to Zach's house, did she call him? And then he didn't pick up the phone because obviously he can't. So what was she hoping to do? Like if Fatima didn't show up to that house that night, let's say that after work, I'll just go back to my apartment and Zach will come meet me when he's done working on the house for the day. I don't need to stop by today. Like, what if she didn't do that? Like, would she wait for Zach to come outside? Why didn't Karen just arrive, knock on the door, find out Zach wasn't there, and that was it? That's my question. Like, what was Karen's plan? That's my thing. I don't know. She's just looking more stalkerish the more I think about it. And I know some people are going to be like, Karen hater. I'm calling it for what I see it. And that's the fact that she's literally putting herself in a triggering position. I know this is a less, I guess you could say the gravity of the situation is different. But I feel like the same could be said about social media. Like, you think you want to know the whereabouts of somebody and like, why are they happy when you are so miserable? It's like when we were together, you never treated me as good as you do your new partner, your girlfriend, your fiance, your wife. So you decide to, let's say, unblock them, or you decide to look at their account. And then as soon as you look, you realize that it makes you feel even worse. That's pretty much what Karen's doing. She's putting herself into a triggering situation. Hence why Pam told your ass, don't get involved. So some people are like, well, look at Karen being honest about it. She's talking to Fatima and everything about it. Yeah, but it's still not a good look for you to be out there pulling the Kanye literally across the street from your ex's house. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I'll do a video on it, but I'm mad, and I'm like, bitch, are you going to burn the house down or what? So yeah, after she gets in her mood, she just hops on the phone and drives off. And then from there, Fatima calls Hayden, basically telling him, "What did you do? I didn't do anything." It's like, "You're dead, and you're dead, mother F." And then, she hangs up on him. And of course, we know in the promo she goes to bust up his car and everything. So that's really it. But then Karen, we see her at her place. Aaron calls her, and this goes back to the whole inconsistency of the characters, because I'm just sitting here thinking, like, Aaron, what are you doing? I mean, last week you're in your car crying. Now this week, I mean, you said, "Fine, you know what? I won't call you. I won't pop up on you unless you want me to." No, you can call me later. Okay. But then it seems like Aaron is doing everything that Karen asked him not to do in the previous episode. I'm not saying I'm not glad Aaron did what he did, but I'm just talking about how, bro, you just don't understand boundaries. Okay. So his people at the hospital, tomorrow morning, there's an appointment for Karen to go to the doctor to get a checkup on the baby. It's been agreed that he will come by the salon tomorrow morning to pick her up and go to the appointment. Now, based on the promo for next week, I'm pretty sure the entire episode still takes place that night, the night that they're currently in. So, folks, I know it sucks, but we won't find out until the back half of season 4, which I believe is episode 13, where it's like Karen receives some troublesome news from the doctor. Now, the thing is, you could tell Karen is upset about this because of the fact that she tried to make up so many excuses. "I don't know if my insurance will cover it." Hey, I will pay for it. Fine. Bet money she's going to try to come up with some excuse when Aaron comes to pick her up. But I think Pam might swoop in to save the day, to be like, "Don't worry about it, girl. I got it covered. We got enough beauticians on staff and we can move an appointment around," or something along those lines. And, Karen will go. Now, number one, I don't think Andy's going to come because she's probably not going to know about the appointment. I don't think Karen's going to tell her because, given the fact, I feel like Karen's going to try to come up with some way to get out of this. But again, based on the episode summaries and everything, I don't think that's the case. Number two, Karen can't lie about this. Now, don't get me wrong. This is confidential information. But again, Aaron knows the people at the hospital and he can vouch as a potential baby daddy. Like, I got to know so I can make sure I'm not the father. So Karen might not be able to squeeze herself out of this situation. All right. So that's pretty much all the... Damn! I'm almost at the 20-minute mark and there's so much more to talk about, but not really. Okay. Let's talk about the Andy and... Yeah, we'll talk about the Andy stuff. So Andy and Danny arrive at the... what's this place called? The wine room, I believe, because the Olive Bar is the place Sabrina was. Okay. So the wine room. Andy and Danny arrive. They look good, but I have no idea why Andy's dressed for a funeral and Danny dressed like she's a secret, a super secret undercover agent. They look fine as hell, but I'm just like, huh? All right. So this kind of dragged on, to be honest, and I feel like we should have saw more of these two just talking instead of spending so much time with the Maurice crap. So Danny addresses the fact that we've never hung out one-on-one, and she just this is the thing that frustrated me. Danny was in top form. Okay, this is the Danny I like. But then she goes straight to that bullshit when she goes up to Preston. All right. She knows that Andy is beating around the bush. She knows the reason she's here. Andy wants advice from someone other than Karen about the Gary situation. I think you should keep all of that stuff, but I don't think you should be with him, because guess what? You just, the basis of it is, and this isn't new information, hence why I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Andy wants someone to co-sign on her foolishness. The funny thing is, Andy always comes to the girls for advice, but then she will do the opposite of what what they tell them. She will go to the girls for advice and then do the opposite of what they tell her to do. But I think the best thing to say, no, let me retool that. Andy always goes to these girls or, for like advice and whatnot. But the thing about it is, Andy is always going to do what she wants to do at the end. So I don't know why you even tell the girls what you're thinking if you know they're not going to agree with it, and then you're going to do what you want anyway. Sabrina allows her mouthpieces, as Calvin called them, to speak for her and think for her. Andy, I don't know why you even bother going to them. So Danny just told the truth. Until you get tired of it, you're going to keep going back to him. And sometimes to get tired of it, you have to be with him. I think you shouldn't be with him at all. But Andy, you're going to do what you want to do anyway. And then we kind of cut the scene. I mean, and Andy's like, because Sabrina feels the same way as Karen. What you girls talk about me? We talk about each other. I'm surprised that Andy would even go, wait, you all talk about me? It's like, good talk. We have talks. I don't know. But they actually see Preston and his date walk in, and let's just skip ahead. So we kind of just skip over to the dinner being over, and before Andy leaves, she's like, look, don't go up to Preston. Girl, I'm going up there. And I'm not really going to harp on this too much. It will be its own video, because Mignon posted something on social media last night that has me going, I'm going to talk about it. So, after just chugging some drinks, Danny decides to go up to Preston and just make a spectacle of herself. I mean, I don't even feel like this scene deserves a breakdown. Not in this video anyway. She goes up there. Apparently, her and Kelly know each other from the gym. I think Zach introduced Danny and Kelly, as like besties, I guess. And then she asked if Zach hooked up Preston and Kelly, and I think Kelly said yes, but Preston's like, no, he didn't. So Danny gets in her feet. Oh, what are you talking about? The cows and bluegrass? And it seems that it's almost seeming like Preston is learning by going out with multiple black women in order to understand Danny. That's what it seems like. But regardless of what it is, whether if he's doing that or if he's literally trying to move on, Danny had no business going up to him like that. That she is literally becoming Karen more and more this season. I mean, this was ridiculous and unnecessary. Preston almost went off on her, but he composed himself after he yelled like Danny, and then she eventually left. So that was just humiliating. Like I said, these women all say, I want to be loved. Where are the good men? When their asses have a good man, they don't know what to do with one. And then when that man decides, I don't have time for this drama, or someone who's uncertain about how they feel towards me, I'm going to move on to someone else, the woman can't handle it. And then they end up doing stupid shit like what Danny did in the restaurant. That's the thing that gets me. And then these women will do these good men wrong by sleeping with other men when they're with the good man. Even though Robin and Andy weren't technically together. Or Andy and Gary. You know what? Andy hoeing herself around last season. How many times? Well, Aaron caught Karen with Zach in the back office. Then you got Preston catching Danny twice, the dude from the gay bar and El Fuego, and then with the situation with Sabrina, that's actually weird because again, her and Calvin had never been in a relationship, and Calvin was the one who really did wrong in that scenario because of the fact that you literally told Sabrina after y'all apparently made up, and you weren't, and it was like, hey, she's not ready to say I love you, and we're not in a relationship, but we're going to take it slow. You literally say, hey, if you want to see somebody else, please tell me before you do. And yet a few hours later, she catches you butt naked with Peggy. So I don't know, but these women are just, I don't know. All right. So Danny goes over to Sabrina's place. Sabrina's just chilling on the couch because I guess she's getting ready to meet up with Calvin. So Danny tells her about the Preston situation and accuses Zach of hooking up Preston with yet another black chick. Apparently Zach and Preston are better friends than I thought, talking all the time off screen. No, they don't. So I don't know why These women need to keep Zach's name out of their mouths. He ain't do a damn thing to any of y'all. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. So, yeah, Sabrina vouches for him, but it's like, Danny can't wait to see him. You know what? I want Danny to see Zach, because guess what? He ain't got time for this shit. I feel like the Zach we're seeing now, he ain't got time for this foolishness. Now, on top of that, I just hope the child isn't his, just because of the fact that it will shut all these women up. Be like, Karen, stay your ass away from him. All right, so anyway, she says, instead of Preston, I'm just going to pursue Logan, the cop who's at the airport. He's kind of cute anyway. Danny, shut up. You literally have like 3 men chasing you. El Fuego. Well, Preston was, until you had that talk and he's like, you know what, I'm done. You had El Fuego and Logan. You literally had a bullet you shot them all down back to back to back. Shut up. So Sabrina, apparently Danny just takes it upon herself to take her phone, get Bio's number out, and then like text Calvin to cancel their date and set up a date with Bio at the wine room, and he said the olive bar, and they'll meet there at 8. So she'll help her get dressed. Now, moving on, actually, there's a scene with Maurice and Calvin where Calvin gets up to leave, and I'm guessing, okay, so is he just going somewhere, or is this a night where he and Sabrina are supposed to go out? So anyway, we go over to the date, and Sabrina is looking fine as hell. One of her best outfits, or best looks on the show. And they're in a private party room in the back, and, Bio has appetizers, wine, and they, toast to having a good date. And then the funny thing is, because I knew, I'm like, when I saw the scene the first time, like, I know, is that Calvin all the way in the background walking past the window? So he's like, Jaws is like, dunna, 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 dunna. And then he just comes up out of nowhere. Oh yeah, to a good date. And I'm like, oh shit, what are you doing here, man? So, also, there's a brief scene of Andy. What is it? She's at the penthouse. She's like, okay, just call him. So I'm like, who is she calling? I guess she was going to call Gary, because Robin literally surprised her. Basically, hey, I'm going to be back in ATL in a few hours. You want to get a drink tonight? Not tonight. What about tomorrow? Sure. Wait, I can tell you're conflicted about, what did he do? What did he buy you? Is it flowers or something? No, you wouldn't be taken back by flowers, so it must have been something big. You don't know me that well. Basically, he's like, how do you know there's something wrong? Like I'm on the fence. We're attorneys, Andy. I can tell based on your, vocal inflections and whatnot. Well, you don't know me that well. Maybe I don't. Maybe, yeah, you're right. I can't read you so well. I'm glad to be wrong. As she's sitting in the penthouse her ex-fiance bought her. Robin knows her number. Pun intended. So he's like, hey, if you want to get a drink sometime, just call me, and regardless, I'll see you tomorrow at work. So after they get off the phone, she, I think, texts Gary about meeting at the penthouse for dinner. So there's that. And man, this is crazy. The last thing to talk about is the least interesting part of the episode that took up most of the time of the episode. It's the Maurice and Calvin crap. So like I said earlier in the video, Calvin wanted to call the police. Maurice like, no, he's in my room. Oh, well, I'm going to throw him out. Fine. Okay, I'll help. Look, Spinderella. That was a funny line. But even I'm like, okay, I think Tyler's kind of overdoing it. Don't get me wrong. The Danny thing at the penthouse was hilarious, but it's getting old. They go back to the room, and he's naked on the bed. And then, of course, Maurice, Calvin's like, fine, I'll let you handle it. And then after some back and forth, Maurice decides, yeah, you need to get dressed and get out. So he gets, Maurice steps out and says, I'm going to take a cold shower. And then later on, he comes out and he's wearing the same clothes. I'm like, wait, what? So I guess he didn't take that shower, whatever. But, okay, regardless, Q gets dressed and he's like, I can't believe he's really going to throw me out. Nigga, you robbed Calvin. You had Maurice at gunpoint, was threatening him and his girl, his friend, aka the bank manager, Sabrina. And then you have the audacity to throw me out on the street. I don't care. So he leaves. And you know he ain't going too far because that damn bracelet. So basically, you know, he tries to tell Calvin about the whole, you know what, I had it rough, so did I, but I'm not everybody's robbing banks. Get out. So from there, Maurice and Calvin bicker about the Q situation. Q's blowing up Maurice's phone, and you know, Calvin just decides to leave. So that's the episode. That's the episode. Our favorite places. Yeah, Danny, get over yourself. Every time Preston shows up somewhere, it doesn't mean that he's trying to bump into you. What did she say? That you never took me here, Preston, but I told you that the wine room is one of my favorite places. I don't know. Okay, but in any case, that's the episode in itself. Sorry if I got worked up a few times, but you know, people ask, why do you still review the show? It's the #1 show on the channel, and I got bills, okay? But no, for real, this one bad episode doesn't ruin the season for me. Well, let me put it this way. This episode, combined with the promo for next week, lets me know I feel like the mid-season finale is not going to be that great, but that's just my opinion. So look out for my trailer breakdown. If I get like a good quality version of the trailer today, I will do the video, but to be honest, I might just use the end credit scene and then use the screenshots from I'll figure it out when I get there. Alright guys, well thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you take a moment to give this video a thumbs up to show you like it. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Hit subscribe and hit that bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel.